Questions 11 through 20 on the 2020 Grade 7 Gauss Math Contest. Each of the 7 boxes contains exactly 10 cookies. If the cookies are shared equally among 5 people, how many cookies does each person receive? 7 boxes, 10 cookies each, that's 70 boxes. Now you take those 70 and you divide that among 5 people equally, and when you do, you get 14 cookies each. Number 11, the answer is A. Abdul is 9 years older than Susie. Bin is 2 years older than Susie. How many years is Abdul older than Bin? So let's see here. Abdul greater than Susie by 9. And then Bin greater than Susie by 2. So let's just give some numbers. If Susie is 10, that means Abdul is 19. If Susie is 10, Bin is 12. So comparing Abdul to Bin, it looks like 19 compared to 12 is 7 years difference. So the answer to number 12 is E. Points P 1555, Q 2655, and R 2635 are 3 vertices of rectangle PQRS. The area of the rectangle is. The side length from here to here looks like we're going from 15 to 26, so that would be 20, or rather 11. And then here we're going from 35 to 45 on the y-axis, so that would be 20. So now the dimensions are 11 by 20, and therefore the area is 11 by 20, and that is 220. So number 13, the answer is C. A box contains 15 red, 20 blue, and 16 green jelly beans. Jack first chooses a green jelly bean and eats it. Then he chooses a blue jelly bean and eats it. If each of the remaining jelly beans is equally likely to be chosen, what is the probability that Jack chooses a red jelly bean next? 15 red, 20 blue, and 16 green. So first you take a green, you remove that, so that we're down to 15 green. Then he eats a blue, so we're down to 19 blue. And then we have 15 red remaining. So now they're asking of these guys, what's the probability of getting a red? Well, probability of getting a red looks like 15, because that's how many red are left. And then you divide by the total, which in this case would be 15 plus 19 plus 15. And that is going to be 15 over 49. So number 14, the answer is C. Emile and Olivia ran a race. Their race times totaled 1 hour and 52 minutes. If Emile's time was 4 minutes less than Olivia's time, how many minutes did it take Olivia to run the race? Emile plus Olivia have a total time of 1 hour and 52. So 60 plus 52, so 112. But we know that Emile, his race time is 4 minutes less than Olivia. So we can plug that in there. So O minus 4 plus O is equal to 112. So 2O is equal to 116. And therefore O would be 116 divided by 2, which is 58. And that is Olivia's time that it takes her to run the race. Number 15, the answer is C. In the diagram, which of the following squares should be shaded to make BD a line of symmetry of the square ABCD? Well, looking at this, this is 4 from the line of symmetry, approximately. So I've got to do the same thing up here, 4 from the line of symmetry. So I've got to shade in that one. And then this one here is 2 down from the line of symmetry, so I've got to go 2 across from that line of symmetry, so I've got to shade that one. And that would make DB or BD a line of symmetry. So which ones did I circle or shade? P and S. So that would make number 16 A. Rosie is saving money. She has $120 in her account today and will begin saving by making $30 deposits into her account. If she makes M such deposits, the expression that best represents the number of dollars in her account is. She starts with 120, and she's making $30 deposits, but she's making M of those. So that's the expression. So for example, if she makes 5 $30 deposits, it would be $30, $30, $30, $30, $30, right? In that kind of way. But instead of writing it like that, you could also write it as 30 times 5. So that's all this is asking. Number 17, that is E. Two isosceles triangles each have at least one angle that measures 70 degrees. In the first triangle, the measure in degrees of each of the remaining two angles is even. In the second triangle, the measure in degrees of each of the remaining two angles is odd. In the first triangle, the sum of the angles is S. The second triangle, the sum of the angles is T. What is T plus S? Well, we've got two isosceles triangles. We have this one, and then I guess we have another one that I'm not really sure how it looks, but we can just make it. Doesn't really matter how it looks. So let's label this now. Let's say 70 is this angle. Since it's isosceles, this will be 70 also. And therefore, the third angle will be 180 minus 70 minus 70, because the sum of the angles add up to 180. So 180 minus 70 is 40. So that third angle here is 40. And the other isosceles triangle, I'll put the 70 up here. So that means these angles are the same. Call them x and x. And therefore 2x plus 70 is equal to 180. So that means 2x is 110, and therefore x is 55. So let's go back to the question. In the first triangle, the measure in degrees of each of the remaining two angles is even. Well, that's true. I have labeled this, let's say 70. The remaining two angles are these two guys, and they're both even. In the next triangle, I had labeled this 70. The measure in degrees of each of the remaining two angles is odd. That's odd, and that's odd, because that's also 55. Okay, so in the first triangle, the sum of the equal angles is 70. So these are the two equal angles. The sum of the equal angles is S. So that is going to be 140 is equal to S. In the second triangle, the sum of the equal angles is T. So that's going to be the 55 and the 55. So that means T is 110. So they want S plus T. So S plus T is 140 plus 110. And that's 250. So number 18, the answer is B. Three different views of the same cube are shown. The symbol on the face opposite the colored circle is. Let's try our best to figure this out. So I'll just start with this one right here, and I'll label it exactly the way it is. So we've got that square there, and then here we have that square with the X, and then here we have that circle. Okay, now where do I go next? I'm going to try to put that in. So based on the orientation, it looks like the plus could go here, and then the circle that's filled in will be the one that's at the very back. So like that. And then let's try to figure this out. It looks like the plus and the, I guess the square with the X are going to be sort of on the same continuum, which they are on this one. And then the shape that's a square that's filled in is on the bottom. So I guess that's what's going to be here. And I think that's the best way of drawing this. So what do they want? The face opposite the circle with that's filled in. So the circle that's filled in is on the back one. And therefore on the front one is this symbol here, this square with the X. So that's C for number 19. On the grid shown, Jane starts at dot A. She tosses a fair coin to determine which way to move. She tosses a head, she moves up. She tosses a tail, she moves right. After 4 tosses, Jane will be at one of the 5 dots, P, Q, R, S, T. What is the probability that she'll be at dot R? All right. So we have P, Q, R, S, and T. So the only way to get to P is to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 up. And how do you go 4 up? By having 4 heads. Because if you toss a head, you move up. Okay. And then tail is very similar. Or T, I should say. The only way to get T is to go 4 across. How do you go across? By tossing a tail. So you have to toss 4 tails. So T, 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 T. Now, if we have 4 moves, each move can be either a heads or a tails. So I have 2 choices for each move. So the total number of moves is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. For P, it looks like there's only one way. And for T, it looks like only one way. So the remaining 14 must be these guys. So let's figure them out. How do we get to Q? Q looks like you're going up 3 and then across 1. Or going up 2, across 1, and up 3. But bottom line is you're going to go up 3 in some order and across 1 in some order. So the tails can be anywhere as long as there's one of them. So these are the sort of the combinations, as you can see. H, H. So that is actually 4. And S is very similar. It's up 1 and 3 across. So that means it's 1 H and 3 tails. So in a very similar way, you can get the combinations of moves that would take you to S as follows. Oops, put too many H's there. And then we have the H, T, T, T. And then that is, of course, also 4. So you don't even have to do R. If you really wanted to, you can. But I already have everything I need. If this is 1, this is 1, this is 4, and this is 4, then this must be 16 minus 10. Because this 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 10. And 16 minus 10 is 5. Or sorry, 16 minus 10 is 6. So this will be 6. Now, just for the sake of completion, let's just write them out. This is going to be a situation where you have 2 heads and 2 tails, right? 2 up and 2 across. So that you can write them either as H, H, T, T, H, T, H, T, or T, H, H, T, T, H, T, H, T, T, H, H, and finally the one where the 2 T's are in the middle. And as you can see, that is 6. So in a very complete way, we were able to figure out that the probability of getting to R is 6 out of the 16, which in lowest terms is 3/8. So number 20, the answer is B.